friends, this is Tina from Tina Colley Teaching Resources, and I want to share with you an activity from my Pi Day Math Activities resource that I designed for 3rd and 4th graders. You see, back when I taught 3rd grade, my students really wanted to celebrate Pi Day with the big kids, but they weren't really developmentally ready for a lot of the computations that it would require. So I came up with some activities that were a little more scaled down to their skill level and some exploration opportunities for them. So basically this resource has 27 pages of low to no prep activities for kind of 3rd to 4th grade, and they should help your students celebrate Pi Day just like the big kids. So the activity that I'm going to show you right now is the one exploratory that I used to do with my kids. And basically, I wanted them to understand that what pi is it's a ratio, it's a division problem, and it's the measurement of the circumference or the outside of a circle by its diameter, which is a line that starts at one point on the circle, ends on another point of the circle, and passes through the center of the circle. I also wanted them to understand that what we were going to be doing today is we're actually estimating, because we're not using exact measurements. And one of the reasons we don't is because having them measure with a straight edge is impossible. And we just didn't have the tools to get that precise of a measurement. First thing I would have them use is paper clips. I love paper clips because they're cheap, they're easy, and my kids love to string them together, pass the time, I guess. Always finding those on the floor. So the first thing that I would have them do is I would have them use paper clips. I would have them make a chain so that they all stick together. And I let them know that they want to try to get the outside of the circle as much as possible. But remember, we are just estimating here. So I'm going to straighten this out. There we go. And this one has a little problem here. Another teachable moment. There we go. Now I don't string these together. I have them do that. I just did this for ease here. And in doing this, that's about as close as I'm going to get to my diameter. And a couple ways now I'm going to actually spread this out. I'm not going to measure it. This one just doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. And then I'm going to take another line of paper clips and I'm going to measure my diameter. And again, I want to make sure that all my paper clips are end to end here. And it comes out pretty close to 4. I could add another paper clip, but I'm going to just kind of leave it at that. And then what I do is I have them compare, because really division is just another word for comparison, or ratio, which is also a comparison. I know my diameter is just over 4 paper clips long. So there's 4 there. Another 4. Another group of 4. Then I have a little bit left over. That's my decimal. The other thing I can do is I can have my kids count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then 12, 13, 14 paper clips. And I have about 4 here. And 14 divided by 4 is about 3.2. And that's pretty darn close to pi. Now we're going to try a different type of measurement. I'm going to have my kids measure with Legos. I love Legos. I raised 2 boys. I have a ton of them, so I love to bring them into my classroom. I think they're one of the best toys around. Now I ask my students, doesn't matter to me which Legos you use, however, they should all be as close to the same size. One of the things I love about using Legos, and you can see I'm putting it on the outside here of the line to measure the circumference, is it shows a couple things about circles that many students may not know. And that, first of all, a few of my students recognize that there's a lot of angles in that. And that really is what a circle is. It's a plane figure that has so many angles that it becomes a circle. The other thing is that with this one, you can see that I have a gap here. I can try and fit one more in. That's going to be a little too big. So I'm going to actually use a smaller one. If you notice, these Legos have 8 little teeth in them. I'm going to use one that has 4. 4/8 is going to be 1/2. Again, just introducing fractions. That's pretty close to how that can sit in. And so I have measured my circumference. I'm going to put those over there. And I'm going to measure my diameter. I'm going to use the same unit of measure, Legos. There we go. 2, 3, ooh, look at that, 4. Exactly 4. Here are my circumference. Here is my diameter. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do with my circumference is I'm going to make groups of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I take my circumference and I divide it by my diameter, I get 1, 2, 3 and a half. My half that's left over. Pretty darn close to 3.14. Pretty darn close to pi. The other option that I see quite often, I don't use this method as much, but I have, is to use yarn. A couple of reasons I don't use it is that I probably have the small motor skills. My small motor skills are probably worse than most. And so I find it very hard to wrap this around. But then again, we're estimating, you know, we're trying to be as close as we can, but we are not using tools that are exact measures. So I'm going to come around and I'm going to estimate. And if you notice, I'm doing it pretty darn loose. And then I'm going to cut that the length of my circumference. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my diameter. I'm going to keep it loose. And I'm going to cut that. And then with that, I'm going to put my circumference straight. And I'm just going to compare them. So there's 1, 2, and there's 3, and there's that little 14 tenths. Another way to do that is once I have the yarn, I can measure it. And in this case, I'm going to measure it out. I have 18.5. Put it down here for you. And I'm going to stretch it 18.5. And my diameter. And that's going to come to almost 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 18.5 divided by 5 point, what was that? And I don't think I'd have my kids go that far, but they could use a calculator. Oh, we'll say 5 and 5/8 or 5.5. They're going to come pretty close to 3 and 14 tenths or 3.14. At the end, they can reflect on it and put their thoughts, but my kids always enjoy this, and I think it gives them a pretty good understanding of circles. And again, if you would like to see more of my resource, I'm at Tina Colley at Teacher Pay Teacher, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.